Hi, my name's Jen, and I work here at the Sault Ste. Marie Public Library. And as we're celebrating the library's 125th anniversary, our staff have been asked to share with you some of their favorite book choices. So I will share a few of my book choices with you today, and I have them set up here for you. And my topics for these books are how we interact with our landscape, how people interact with their landscape. And three of the books I'm telling you about do just that. And then the other book that I'm going to share with you is a book about how we interact with our society and the people around us. So two of my favorite topics are Lake Superior and interpersonal relationships. I love Lake Superior and I love psychology. So I think anybody who is living in Sault Ste. Marie, who's a resident of Sault Ste. Marie, or anybody new to Sault Ste. Marie should try to learn a little bit about our landscape here and how our community, how our city has been shaped. Not only our city, but our surrounding industry. The first book I'll talk to you about is called Lake Superior, Under the Shadow of the Gods. It's by Barbara Chisholm and Andrea Gooch, and it was published in 1998. This book highlights life around the Lake Superior waters. It talks about the power of Lake Superior and the beauty of Lake Superior and the history of Lake Superior. It talks also about how industry over the years has changed and how the water has shaped these industries. For example, the fur trade, how furs were carried and trading items were carried up and down the waters by the voyageurs. Logging, how logs were brought down from far up north down to the pulp mill. And it talks about mining and fishing, fishing whitefish and lake trout, and how these industries have changed over the years. So there's a lot of snippets about history and the surrounding areas. And just all in all, it's a very interesting book. There's also some interesting personal stories within the book and how the water has shaped the lives of the people who have lived around Lake Superior. A very similar book to Lake Superior, Under the Shadow of the Gods, is The Wolf's Head, and that's Writings on Lake Superior by Peter Unwin. They're similar stories, but they're more in-depth stories. Instead of getting paragraphs, you're going to get chapters on subjects surrounding Lake Superior. For example, the voyageurs and how the voyageurs use the water to transport all their goods up and down the big lake. And there's a chapter on the Ontonagon boulder, the boulder that was discovered that was completely copper. And Silver Islet is an island up in Thunder Bay, that was mined, and there are remnants of that today in the water. And of course, the Edmund Fitzgerald. And you would also enjoy reading this book by Peter Unwin. The next book I've chosen to tell you about is called The Greatest Lake, Stories from Lake Superior's North Shore. This book is by Connor Myhill, and it was published in 2012. Of course, the topic, again, is Lake Superior, but it also focuses on the author's love for the water and his relationship with the water. And then it goes into talk about other people who've also have and had a connection with Lake Superior. One thing I'd like to mention too, that is talked about in the book, is the power that surrounds us, of the water that surrounds us, and how vast a water it is, and that it is the world's largest freshwater lake. So if you are new to Sault Ste. Marie and you'd like to learn a little bit more about the water that you see surrounding us everywhere, you might like to read one of these books. The other book I'd like to tell you about is called A Man Called Uva, and there's been some questioning on how to say the character's name, and some people have pronounced it A Man Called Ove, but I do believe the correct pronunciation is A Man Called Uva. This is about a man who is approaching his elder years. He's 59 years old, and he is very, very cranky. And his reasons for being cranky are that he has lost his wife and he wants to die. So he lives in a housing complex where all the houses are joined together, and he likes to find fault with everybody and anything that he possibly can. So it's his dealings with the people around him and the events around him that surround him. He is not a happy man, but one day a family moves in, and they have 2 children, and the wife, the mother, is originally from India, and she brings with her different customs that he is introduced to. So he also is introduced to their young daughters, who seem to like him, even though he's very cranky. And I enjoyed the book very much, because we often judge people on their actions without knowing their background and the struggles that they may be having. So it's quite an interesting book, and it's a fun book. There's some comedy in it, and he eventually turns his character around because of a family showing him some love. Anyway, I hope you do take me up on some of the topics I've introduced you to, and I do hope you enjoy these chosen books. Thank you.